There is a question that lives quietly in the corners of our hearts. It surfaces when we lie awake at 3 in the morning. It appears when we check our phones compulsively, hoping for news that hasn't arrived. It whispers to us when we stand at crossroads, unsure which path to take. The question is simple, yet it carries the weight of our deepest fears. What happens when I cannot see what comes next? This is the voice of uncertainty, and today we will learn not to silence it, but to sit with it, like an old friend. Life, in its truest nature, refuses to be controlled. You have felt this. Perhaps you planned a perfect day, only to watch rain fall unexpectedly. Perhaps you built a careful future in your mind, only to watch circumstances shift like sand beneath your feet. Perhaps you loved someone deeply, believing they would stay forever, only to learn that forever is not a promise life makes to anyone. These moments are not accidents or punishments. They are life teaching us its most fundamental truth. Everything flows, nothing stays, and certainty is the beautiful illusion we create to feel safe in a world that is always moving. In the ancient teachings of the Buddha, there is a word for this constant change. It is called anicca, or impermanence. It means that every single thing you can see, touch, think, or feel is in motion. The tree outside your window is slowly growing, aging, preparing to return to the earth. The person you were yesterday is not exactly who you are today. Even the thoughts moving through your mind right now will be gone in seconds, replaced by new ones. Nothing is solid. Nothing is permanent. And yet we spend so much of our lives pretending otherwise. Take a slow breath now. Feel the air moving into your lungs, filling your chest, then releasing. Even your breath does not stay. It comes, it goes, it comes again. This is the rhythm of existence itself. And in this rhythm, there is both terror and tremendous freedom. The terror comes when we resist. The freedom comes when we surrender to the flow. When we were children, uncertainty felt like adventure. Remember that feeling? The world was vast and mysterious, and we did not need to know what would happen tomorrow to feel alive today. We played, we explored, we laughed without needing guarantees. But somewhere along the way, we learned to fear the unknown. Society taught us that good lives are predictable lives, that success means having a plan and sticking to it, that love means knowing exactly how the story ends. These beliefs gave us temporary comfort, but they also built invisible cages around our hearts. The suffering we feel in uncertainty does not come from the uncertainty itself. It comes from our relationship with it. When we demand that life be different than it is, we create an inner war. When we insist on knowing outcomes before they arrive, we exhaust ourselves fighting against the nature of time. When we cling desperately to people, situations, or ideas about how things should be, we trap ourselves in suffering. The Buddha taught that attachment is the root of pain. Not love, not caring, not commitment, but the grasping, the holding on so tightly that our hands cramp and our hearts close. Imagine holding a handful of sand. When you grip it tightly, trying to keep every grain, the sand slips through your fingers. But when you hold your hand open, gentle and relaxed, the sand rests peacefully in your palm. This is the difference between attachment and acceptance. One creates struggle. The other creates space for things to be as they are. You can still care deeply. You can still hope and dream and work toward the future you desire. But you do it with an open hand, knowing that the universe has its own plans too, and sometimes those plans are wiser than our own. Let me tell you about a farmer in ancient times. One day his only horse ran away into the mountains. His neighbors came to offer sympathy, saying, "What terrible luck!" But the farmer simply replied, "Maybe." A week later the horse returned, bringing with it a herd of wild horses. The neighbors celebrated, saying, "What wonderful luck!" Again the farmer said only, "Maybe." Soon after, his son tried to tame one of the wild horses and broke his leg. The neighbors mourned, calling it a tragedy. The farmer said, "Maybe." Then war came to the land, and all the young men were drafted into the army, except the farmer's son, because of his broken leg. The neighbors praised his good fortune, and still, the farmer said, "Maybe." This story lives in many cultures because it touches something universal. We do not know the full story while we are living it. What seems like disaster today may become blessing tomorrow. What feels like victory now may reveal itself as detour later. The farmer's wisdom was not in predicting the future. It was in releasing his need to judge each moment as purely good or purely bad. He lived in the space between certainty and chaos, and in that space, he found peace. So how do we become like the farmer? How do we train ourselves to live peacefully with not knowing? The answer begins with a practice so simple that many people overlook it. It is called mindfulness. To be mindful means to bring your full attention to this present moment without judgment, without resistance, without trying to change anything. It means noticing what is actually happening right now, instead of what you fear might happen later, or what you wish had happened before. Your mind is probably somewhere else even as you listen to these words. Perhaps it is planning dinner or replaying a conversation from yesterday. Perhaps it is worrying about tomorrow's meeting or wondering if you remembered to lock the door. This is not a failure. This is simply what minds do. They wander. They seek problems to solve. They try to protect you by staying vigilant. But this constant mental motion creates exhaustion. It steals you away from the only moment you truly have. This one. Right now, pause. Notice 3 things you can see around you. It does not matter what they are. A wall, a shadow, the corner of a screen. Just notice. Now notice 2 things you can hear. Perhaps your own breathing. Perhaps distant traffic. Just listen. Now notice 1 thing you can feel. The weight of your body against the chair. The temperature of the air on your skin. Just feel. What you have just done is bring yourself fully into the present moment. And in this moment, right now, are you okay? Not tomorrow. Not yesterday. But right here, right now. Are you breathing? Are you alive? Then in this moment, despite all the uncertainty swirling around your future, you are okay. This is the power of mindfulness. It does not solve your problems or guarantee your future, but it gives you ground to stand on. It reminds you that life happens only in the present moment, and in the present moment, there is almost always enough. Enough air, enough light, enough life. The suffering lives in the stories we tell about what might happen. The peace lives in returning, again and again, to what is. Alongside mindfulness walks another practice, equally essential. It is called acceptance. Many people misunderstand acceptance. They think it means giving up, becoming passive, letting life happen to you without resistance. But true acceptance is not weakness. It is radical clarity. Acceptance means seeing things exactly as they are, without the distortion of wishful thinking. It means acknowledging reality without immediately trying to fight or flee from it. It means saying, "This is what is happening right now," and meeting that truth with an open heart. When you receive news you did not want, your first instinct is often denial or anger. These are protective mechanisms. They try to shield you from pain, but they also keep you stuck in struggle. Acceptance does not mean you like what is happening. It means you stop arguing with reality. You stop saying, "This should not be happening," because it is happening. Once you accept what is, you can respond with wisdom instead of reaction. You can ask, "Okay, this is true. Now what do I need? What is the most compassionate action I can take?" Think of acceptance like this. You are standing in a river. The water is cold. It is moving fast. You did not choose to be here. You can spend your energy fighting the current, screaming that the river should be warm and still, exhausting yourself in protest. Or you can accept that you are in a cold, fast river and use your energy to find the best way to move with the current, to reach the shore, to keep breathing. Acceptance does not change the river, but it changes everything about how you experience it. There is a deeper layer to this practice, something that takes time to understand. It is this: uncertainty is not the enemy of peace. Uncertainty is the doorway to presence. When you do not know what will happen, you are forced to be here now. You cannot live in a future that has not arrived. You cannot hide in a past that no longer exists. You must be present. And presence, when you soften into it, is where peace lives. The things we are most certain about often keep us trapped. We are certain we know how people should behave, so we suffer when they disappoint us. We are certain we know how our careers should unfold, so we suffer when life takes us in unexpected directions. We are certain we know what happiness looks like, so we miss the quiet joy that is already here, dressed in unfamiliar clothes. Certainty closes doors. Uncertainty opens them. But opening those doors requires courage. It requires practicing gratitude even when you cannot see the full picture. Gratitude is not about pretending everything is perfect. It is about training your mind to notice what is good, even while acknowledging what is difficult. Right now, even in your uncertainty, there are gifts. Perhaps you have breath in your lungs. Perhaps you have someone who loves you. Perhaps you have a quiet moment to listen to these words. These are not small things. These are everything. When you practice gratitude in the face of uncertainty, something shifts. The fear does not disappear completely, but it no longer has total power over you. You begin to see that you have survived every uncertain moment that came before this one. You have walked through fog and found your way. You have faced change and adapted. You are stronger than you know, and more resilient than you believe. Gratitude reminds you of this truth. There is also compassion to cultivate. First, for yourself. When life feels uncertain, you may judge yourself harshly. You may think you should be stronger, braver, more in control. You may feel ashamed of your anxiety or embarrassed by your fear. But these feelings are not weakness. They are human. Everyone you have ever met, every person who seems confident and certain, has felt exactly what you feel now. Uncertainty is part of the human contract. You are not failing by feeling it. You are simply being alive. Speak to yourself the way you would speak to someone you deeply love. Say, "I know you are scared. I know you wish you had answers. I know this is hard, and I am here with you. You are not alone." This is self-compassion. It does not erase the difficulty, but it wraps it in kindness. And kindness makes everything more bearable. Extend that same compassion outward. The person who cut you off in traffic may be rushing to the hospital. The friend who canceled plans may be drowning in their own uncertainty. The stranger who seems angry may be carrying grief you cannot see. When you remember that everyone is fighting battles you know nothing about, judgment softens into understanding, and understanding into love. As we move toward the closing of this reflection, I want you to imagine something with me. Imagine that uncertainty is not a storm to survive, but a teacher who has come to show you something essential. What if uncertainty is here to teach you trust, not in outcomes, but in your own ability to meet whatever comes? What if it is here to teach you flexibility, resilience, presence? What if it is stripping away the illusion of control so you can discover something deeper? The unshakable peace that does not depend on circumstances? You do not need to have your whole life figured out. You do not need to know what next year looks like, or next month, or even tomorrow. You only need to take the next breath. You only need to take the next kind action. You only need to meet this moment with as much presence and compassion as you can offer. And then the next moment. And then the next. This is how we walk through uncertainty. Not by demanding it disappear, but by learning to dance with it. There is an ancient Buddhist image of the lotus flower. It grows in muddy water, pushing up through darkness and murk, until finally it breaks the surface and blooms in stunning beauty. The lotus does not bloom despite the mud. It blooms because of it. The mud is not something to escape. It is the fertile ground from which beauty grows. Your uncertainty, your not knowing, your moments of fear and doubt. This is your mud. And from it, something beautiful is preparing to bloom. So be gentle with yourself today. Be patient with the questions that have no answers yet. Trust that you are exactly where you need to be, learning exactly what you need to learn. The universe is not punishing you with uncertainty. It is inviting you into a deeper relationship with life, one that is not based on control, but on trust. Not on knowing, but on being. Not on arrival, but on journey. If these words have brought you even a moment of peace, I am grateful to have shared this space with you. Your presence here matters. If you found value in this reflection, a like or comment helps this message reach others who may need it. Subscribing means we continue this journey together, exploring the ancient wisdom that helps us live modern lives with grace. And if you feel moved to support this work through a super thanks, know that every bit of generosity fuels the creation of more content like this. I welcome your thoughts in the comments. What is your relationship with uncertainty? How do you find peace when the future feels unclear? Your story may be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. We are all walking each other home. Thank you for spending this sacred time here. Thank you for your open heart and curious mind. May you move through your days with softness and strength. May you remember that you are held by something larger than your fears. May you find peace not by eliminating uncertainty, but by discovering that you can breathe and be and bloom right in the middle of it. Today, may you find peace in simply not knowing.